Hello and welcome to BW London podcast. So I've just finished watching the long video by Fresh
But
and
I
Fit.
must say though, I'm a bit of a conspiracy theorist by nature. I call it conspiracy. I call it real life, to be honest. But on this one, I'm like, so we've got an FBI agent. We've got someone who owns half of Barbados. We've got ABBA acting out of character. We've got Kevin Samuel who's been moving like he's Freemason for a minute. Is this some sort of initiation, guys? Are you lot on your? Is this all planned? Are you guys agents out there as part of just meddling? Do you know what? I'll leave it because that's a separate video. But let's get into the points that these guys made. I haven't taken down all of them. I'm just looking in their comment section, the ones that are like of relevance, I guess. But one of the first things they brought up was, does Fresh and Fit have animosity towards Kevin Samuel or the roommates? Have they badmouthed them? Now, I've got to be honest, the way these are done, the reason we haven't heard from these guys in days is because Mr. FBI sat there and broke this down like a case, didn't he? So, and he done a good job of it, but not everything passed. On that one, he went for, we're very competitive and, they like to talk a lot of rubbish because we're competitive. I understand that. I know what it's like to work around competitive men and that they can be that way. But obviously, it's been described as if it was done more disrespectfully. I'll give them a pass on that one. Um, and it's not like we don't see them actually talking a lot of rubbish on the show. It really is a part of their character, that whole boastfulness, and it's too much. And you could see them really trying to tone it down. Fresh didn't want to, and because they were very much into, I've got our own identity. So Fresh was being very much, I'm the hard one. Don't talk to me, poor man. And poor man podcast. While meanwhile, um, I don't know, bad cop, good cop. He probably gave him a little FBI talk. But anyway, yeah, so moving on. Why did Fresh and Fit react the way they did with the YouTube beef? You know, they were hurt. They said so. We knew that. I knew that. I actually spoke about that in my very first ever video. I said the Abba Preach calling them out wasn't a good thing. It felt like a creation of beef. But ultimately, even to this day, Abba would not admit that he didn't like them, they annoyed him, and this is what this was ultimately about. He clearly couldn't have, had hindsight on the whole thing unless these guys are undercover agents truly for the CSI and FBI. Because as you know, Kevin Samuel likes to use that name a lot. Just all seems a bit. But anyway, so Abba, so he's never going to admit that he was just irritated by these guys. And in my opinion, them being hurt, that was obvious. So you could tell that they were hurt. Their reaction was from being hurt, but wasn't okay. And you got that. You got a proper apology and so on, which was good. I'm sure. Well, Abba's not going to appreciate it. He's made up his mind about them. They lack integrity, yada yada. But yeah, I'm still a little bit suspicious of Abba's behavior, unfortunately. But never mind. So, next point. Fresh and Fit show the receipts on the break-in situation. I don't really have much to say about that, to be honest. I mean, he says he kicked down the door on the Allende, if you say his name, Allende, Allende. Yeah, you see him just open a door. I just don't like that guy. When someone in my comments recommended that I go and watch their video, and I did, and I sat through it, and I was like, oh my God, my spirit's not taken to this guy. There's something not right. If anything, what he describes about Myron, they seem like the same person. I pretty much see them as the same person, and he's the way he was. No, I don't believe it. And the fact that you guys, him and the girly one sitting there, the girly guy, they're sitting there, and they've just appeared, and the other guy's flipping his hand, making the points like my. Just not feeling it. Don't want to hear from them. Don't know who they are. Um, and they also remind me of, well, if you've done anything successful in life, you always have these people with all these opinions of what they would do and how they could have done it better. And I did this and I did that. But ultimately, they're not the true investors. And I don't just mean financially, they're not the people that go to bed. That don't go to bed, that stay up for like 72 hours straight because they're just so about their passion. And we've all said and done. I definitely know that fresh and fit are those type of guys. You People that are, because I've described them as narcissists. I mean, psychopathic narcissists are the biggest runners of this world. The 48 laws of power. These are men that have it naturally within them because they don't really have empathy and emotions to other. And they are just seeking that goal. Um, these are ambitious people. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, so yeah, those two guys, I'm just like, oh, I don't want to hear from him. I honestly don't. Let's talk about Anna Quinn fitness controversy. Yeah, I was thoroughly disappointed with that. I could totally see how Anna manipulated that, and I posted a comment, sending her love and stuff on her wall after her first video, and I was totally with her on the first video. I understood how dare he. That's really rude. And I'm a person. I genuinely need two sides to the story, but I didn't feel like I needed it on this one. When she came and done the second video, I was really confused. I was like, why are you still here? And then when she said about how much stress she's under, I was like, so what are you doing on social media? And then she went on to talk about her miscarriage. I thought this all feels a bit urgent. What's going on? Myron gave a reason for that because apparently the text that she didn't put in, she was just quickly rushing to sort that out. But she's too. I just hate to say it, but after I saw that, my gut was already not feeling right. Once they threw down the receipts, I just thought, oh, you're quite manipulative, and I kind of know these characters, and I'm just really disappointed to see how these women are using um, essay and things like that so flippantly, because these things really do happen, not as often as people may think, but because of these lies, but it's just being used so it's ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous, and I couldn't really comprehend why she did keep on messaging him after they said what they said, and the next one and the next one. It seemed like her ego was bruised. And it felt like she needed to just show, I'm a high value woman and you need to respect me more. And do you know who I am? That's the vibe I got from it. His message was very silly. His message in return, even just for legal reasons, it was really silly. But I don't get much self awareness from Myron, really. I mean, I say that, but yeah. Let's move on. Let's talk about, okay, yeah, we've done Anna Quinn. Let's discuss the Nina unrated controversy. I never liked that lady. When she came out with that video, it was just like poison. It was seeping into my skin. So I wasn't surprised to see any of that. Her messages were so manipulative. The thing about Myron is he attracts a lot of people to him like himself. Ayonde, whatever. That guy is a replica of him. I can see that in their attitude and their boastfulness. Um, that lady, same thing, and Nina. Nina's messages were disgusting. They were just so like, oh, get out of here. And you're just trying to fast one. And she's got the fast one look about her. I'm guessing, but you can imagine talking to her. She's just rapid with her mouth and them kind of con business skills. You know, those kind of people, they gravitate towards one another. Okay, in speaking about Abba and Preach, they kept saying, oh, they they kept accusing Abba and Preach of possibly being the reason why Yende came for them, and I think something else. And it just seems like such a reach. It just doesn't, I don't know. That just made me even more suspicious. Like, are you all playing a game? And when I say playing a game, I don't just mean amongst them to make money, because I just can't see them doing that. That's why I'm saying, is this an initiation? Are you lot hit a certain level of money and now you're Freemasons, and these are things you have to do to get to the next level? Because they're all ambitious men now. Well, I say now, they're just ambitious men, and they are somebodies in this world. So I don't know. I just found that a bit of a reach, or it didn't feel right. It didn't feel right. um, Receipts and info about the situation with Miss Cheeks. Well, I said in my last video that that woman is balmy. You could just tell from her Twitter feed she's not righted, but she's also vulnerable and an easy target. And I do believe that he targeted her on purpose. She wanted to say on that phone to him, but she couldn't because she's got, what would you call it? When you've got that kind of low self-esteem, you often attract the narcissist types, and that kind of low self-esteem, you have problems articulating your actual feelings. You feel guilty about it. You don't want to say it. And that's what I heard in that conversation. So gaslighting her and making it sound the way he wanted to was really easy. For example, she wanted to say that one day you spent with me wasn't enough. You only spent a few days with me. I don't know where we were going. You didn't tell me nothing like what is the next step. Are you considering me as a potential partner? Anything like that. She wasn't able to communicate anything. And what was on the what the recordings, it was just it doesn't work in our favor. But I said that in my last video. I could tell this will be the kind of girl that is going to make him look credible. I don't know if that is for other people, but that situation didn't look credible for me. It just further implied that you prey on people that are quite simple. That's that really. So that was a for me on that one. Addressing the Kevin Samuels. Now this is when I say you lack self-awareness. The text message. Are you kidding? That was a broadcast. That text message. I can't. That text message. And we've got this, that. So because we're the number one, come on, Kevin Samuel looked at that and was like, what's this? Oh, there must be advertising, and moved on. Furthermore, if he did read it, I would see people are saying this because he doesn't respect them, and that's possible because I don't think he thinks of them as being on their level. But I also don't think he did. I don't think he thought of them as being on his level truly until he heard how they felt about um, sex work and stuff, because they speak from it from an angle that doesn't really know. I don't want to call it high value men, but the definition of Kevin Samuel's high value men that really do know that world. Whether they use it or not, there'll be a percentage, who knows? But it's a real thing, and they spoke about it really foreign, and it was strange. So I genuinely think that's when Kevin Samuels possibly. I reckon Kevin Samuels treats a lot of people like that. I know what busy people are like. You especially ain't gonna. Why couldn't the message say, "Yo, Kev, what's up? Can we talk?" Or just, "Yo, Kev, what was that? We did it. It was all ego, 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 ego." Do you know how many people? I know they're very popular, but a big portion would have come from Kevin Samuels just being on their channel. Recognize that, respect that. So what they had to say about the show, what they had to say about the show and the different times and that, they don't understand. They shouldn't even really be sharing that information. Did they have to share that information? Were they already called out on it? I think they were already called out on it. Yeah, that Ayende gossipy mouth fella was going on about that. So yeah, they did have to speak on that. They could have done that. See, they've kind of slipped up again, but it's not going to be that big a deal, I hope. But they've kind of slipped up again. They don't know how to honor people. A big part of integrity is honor. Yeah, Kevin Samuel doesn't honor you guys based on who you are, how big you are. He should show you more respect. You feel, but I mean, I don't want to talk too much into men's issues because I don't really know how men vibes with one another like that in terms of their respect and blah blah. But I still don't get humble, and the resentment in Fresh's face when he talks about Kevin Samuels or even mentions him. I mean, when I watched these guys originally, it's Fresh I was focused on always, because to me he's the biggest narcissistic personality there. He lacks empathy. That guy. He's told some real harsh stories, and I'm not talking about the boastful ones. I'm talking about the ones where he brings a woman to have an abortion, then blocks her straight after they leave the clinic type of stories. There's a real lack of empathy in that guy. So I was much more focused on him initially, and his disrespect towards Kevin Samuels wasn't hidden, and it's not honourable, and he hasn't 100% learnt from this. I imagine Myron has, but there will always be a struggle with self-awareness. If he has the right counsel around him, he's gone clean. Because what they said on that podcast, I completely agreed. While I was watching the subscribers drop, I was thinking, but their views are doing absolutely fine, absolutely fine. So financially, they're all good. It's not a problem. Fresh announcing, about family owning half of Barbados. Do you know what? I was really glad for the reminder because I did already know that, and I was kind of feeding into the his pretend flossing when actually I already knew. When he went on that white guy show, he'd already expressed that. He'd already said that. So did they redeem themselves? I would say they've probably definitely calmed the situation down, no doubt about it. People will go on and on about this. I'm yet to see what's been said on YouTube. Really looking forward to that, to see what videos have got out there. But for me, it's just heightened more suspicion in me. I sadly, for years, FBI, CSI, for real, they're the ones that plan the agendas in this world. And right now, it does feel like there's an attack on um, black women through Kevin Samuels. And when I say that, it's not because I agree with literally everything Kevin Samuels says. It's the double mindedness stuff that's throwing me. But again, I guess that's another video. It's the double mindedness of Kevin that really truly bothers me. It's like one message, but then another message. Like, for example, he promotes marriage and the healthy family, but at the same time, men go and buy sex and women give it up on the first night, more or less. I know that's not literally what he says, but with that part, but it's something very similar. And I even understand that because the speed in the Bible of people together truly is like that. The speed, the way people got back together back in the day was truly like that. He is expressing that these things are not working right now, the new dating and whatnot. But to me, you're always slipping in the devil's thinking, always, in some way, shape, or form, and it's powerfully done. It's almost like going around a whole circle with truth, but within that circle is lies and stuff that is disruptive. So, that is a problem for me. I also wonder about the addictive nature of it. It almost feels like a spell, but I won't get into that right now. Because this was about, did Fresh and Fit redeem themselves? For some people, yes. For their fans that really doting on them, most definitely they're gonna lap that up. For people who are more deeper thinkers and stuff, not necessarily. For the likes of Kevin Samuels, he don't really care. Oh, all right. Well, thanks for listening and take care.